And now we've got the easiest one for last. 1-9, abdominal regions. When you go into your doctor and they lay you on the table and start poking at your belly, you think, what are you doing, trying to tickle me? No, they're actually trying to feel for stuff. Your organs are directly underneath all this. Like you've got a liver right about there. You've got a stomach right about there. You got a spleen over there, you got a pancreas tucked in there, and you got all sorts of organs in there. And so when they're poking around in you, they want to feel for any tenderness in specific areas, because that'll tell them what organs might be causing some problems. So there's two ways to look at abdominal regions. There's the more broad region, and this is the system of 4 quadrants. So just like on math, or in math, how this is quadrant 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this one is 4, like that. Well, it'd be easy if they named them like that, but they didn't. But what they did use is just as easy. So remember, this is according to the person looking at you, not your reference. Yes, I know this is your left, but it's his right, and it always is in reference to the patient. So these two are on the right, makes sense. This one is upper, this one is lower, makes sense. And it's 1 of 4 quadrant. Pretty simple, huh? Same thing on the left. Left upper, left lower, quadrant. Super duper easy. But there's a lot of stuff in this quadrant. There's a lot of stuff in this quadrant. So doctors have come up with this, I call the system of 9, because it's much, much more detailed. So now if you have a pain here as opposed to here, that's going to tell the doctor something different. So let's take a look at those. We'll start with the middle. In the middle, you have your belly button. Your belly button is called your umbilicus, which is where we get the word umbilical cord from. And so this one gets the umbilical region. So right around the belly button is your umbilical region. Now directly above that we have epigastric. Epi means on top of. And gastric is stomach. So like gastritis, gastrointestinal. So gastro is stomach. So if we think about this, this is kind of up top, so it's above the stomach. Now technically the stomach is actually right here. But in this case, that's what the word means, even though it's not necessarily completely accurate. So we have the umbilical region and then the epigastric region. If we go to the right, you can see right is carried through all 3 on the side, left is carried through all 3 on the side. So right, hypo. Hypo means under. And then the chondriac part, I can spell. Chondriac part actually has to do with cartilage. And the reason why it's called this is because your ribs are right here, and they're connected with cartilage to your other bones. So this is the right area under the cartilage. So right hypochondriac and left hypochondriac. And I know you're thinking, oh, hypochondriac, that's someone who thinks they're sick all the time. It is, but that's what the word actually means, is under cartilage. Okay, so that takes care of this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Now, if this is epigastric on top of the stomach, then hypogastric must be below the stomach. So this region down here, hypogastric. And that just leaves these 4 on the outside. Now, over here, you can see a little bit of this form right here. On guys, they get this nice little fold. Girls, that usually becomes our muffin top. That's your lumbar region, which is kind of where your kidneys are. So being on the right side and in this special little groove area, that's the right lumbar and left lumbar. And then right here, there are your hip bones. And your hip bone, at least that part right there, is called the iliac crest. So that means that this is the right iliac region and this is the left iliac region, because it's right on top of the iliac bone or crest, which is part of your hips. Okay? So umbilical's in the middle, above your stomach, epigastric, below your stomach, hypogastric. Right under your cartilage, hypochondriac, left under your cartilage, hypochondriac. Right lumbar in the lumbar region, left lumbar, and then right iliac, left iliac. Okay, fairly simple. Here's a picture. Woo, that was a little cutting it a little close right there. He's nice. Here's a picture showing what the names of everything are. And also you can see a few of them have different names. The hypogastric, you can see why it's called the pubic region. And then the right iliac is also called the inguinal, because this is your inguinal canal right there. And so it goes by both names. But this picture shows you what is directly under each of those areas. So here's your belly button, completely surrounded by small intestine. Right over here, right lumbar, you got your ascending colon. Then in your right iliac, you got your appendix. So if you have pain in the lower right side, appendicitis. Pain in the lower left side, you're probably constipated or got gas. So by knowing what organs are placed under each of these areas, doctors can have a pretty good guess as to what organ is causing problems. Here's just another picture showing that if I did it this way in the fours, you can see how much more stuff is in each category. Okay, that's it. Nice short one to end off the chapter. Alright, thank you guys. If I can find where the off button is. Okay, bye.